Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
I've always liked metaphors. They usually create a picture that helps you understand other things. They're more colorful, descriptive ways of putting things. Like when David says in Psalm 18:11, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe." I can picture God as a large stone medieval tower. An army is coming and common people are fleeing their homes and running to this tower where they know they'll find safety. The enemy can destroy their crops, fields, and homes, but they can't touch them because they're safe in the tower. In John 6, Jesus uses a metaphor saying, "I am the bread of life." We've talked about how He's like bread, a necessity in our lives, giving us nourishment, strength, life. But later in the passage, when He says it again, He extends the metaphor in a way that kind of makes me cringe and makes His listeners angry, and eventually led them to reject Jesus as their Messiah. Let me read it to you and see if you don't cringe a bit as well. It's in verses 51 through 57. "I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats this bread, he will live forever, and the bread that I shall give him is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world." The Jews therefore quarreled among themselves, saying, "How can this man give us his flesh to eat?" Then Jesus said to them, "Most assuredly I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you will have no life in you. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day. For my flesh is food indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He who eats my flesh and drinks my blood abides in me, and I in him. As the Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so he who feeds on me will live because of me." Now, we understand a bit what it means to eat and drink Jesus because we have the Lord's Supper, where we symbolically eat His flesh and drink His blood. So we know He's referencing His death. But to the original listeners, as well as to unbelievers or new Christians who read this today, it really sounds kind of gross, like Jesus wanted them to become vultures. They had to understand that He was speaking metaphorically, because rabbis often did that. But it had to be quite shocking. So what did He mean? In context, the people listening to Him had been following Him around, enamored by Him and His miracles and teaching. He fed them and taught, and they even tried to make Him king. But He told them it's not enough to come, listen, and admire Him. Just like today, it wasn't enough to believe He's a good man and do miracles. They had to believe. Here He explains in very colorful, graphic terms that believing means more than just your mind saying something is true. And they couldn't pick and choose what to believe. They had to make a complete commitment, accept all of Him or nothing. He was foreshadowing how He would die as a sacrifice, and they would have to accept that too. All of His life and teachings they would have to internalize, make it part of them, and that would change their hearts and lives. Without accepting His sacrifice and making it part of our lives by faith, we can't be saved. It is our only means of safety, life, and deliverance from the wrath of God. As the people responded, this is a hard saying, shocking, offensive, but it brings life. He was asking for all or nothing here. That's when many turned away. But as Peter, representing the 12 disciples, declared, "Where else could we go? Only Jesus has the words of eternal life." Jesus asks for all or nothing. We can feed on Him and His words, or turn away. I like how Isaiah 55:1-2 puts it. "Everyone who thirsts, come to the waters, and you who have no money, come, buy and eat. Yes, come, buy wine and milk without money, without price. Why do you spend money on what is not bread, and your wages for what does not satisfy? Eat what is good, and let your soul delight itself in abundance."
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.